History of Taiwan. Taiwan is an astounding island that is settled in the sea off the shore of mainland China. Taiwan is believed to have a peculiar society, and that is sure because of the history they have. Taiwan has been populated primarily by indigenous people until the 17th century. Later, it had immigrants along with colonization by multiple empires. Due to this reason, it has localized cuisine, arts, social structures, and religious worship patterns. The journey from the period of authoritarianism to democracy is also a fundamental reason why people feel distinctive. Early history. On the East Coast, some of the archaeological sites, especially the Baxiantian caves, are evidence that Taiwan has humans since 50,000 years ago. Around 600 years ago, the traditional people who are the ancestors of today came to Taiwan by sea from southeast China. They landed in places like Bali and multiple other such places on the west coast as well. Along with themselves, they brought advanced forms of culture like pottery and agriculture too. Nearly 2000 BC, these people even started to set off the island. The colonial Dutch era, until 1683. The passing Portuguese seafarers named Taiwan Ilha Formosa means the beautiful island. This name was used until World War II. Later, in 1642, the Dutch East India Company on the southwest coast of Taiwan established a small colony that is known as Tainan in the present day. Some years after that, they founded a new base on the north side at Tam Sui. They used to trade nutmeg, porcelain, satin, pepper, cinnamon, sugar, silk, and rice. Koxinga was a vigorous ally of the Ming dynasty of China, and after the last Ming emperor was removed by Manchu warriors in 1644, he accumulated individual Ming supporters and launched a mission to expel the recently established Qing dynasty. He failed at his campaign. He was defeated several times and pushed to move to the south. Koxinga wanted to regroup in Taiwan, and he had his eyes on it. In 1660, he took over the Dutch by surprise surrounding Fort Provincia and Fort Zeelandia in the Tainan. The Fort Provincia fell in 2 days, however. The Fort Zeelandia held out until the initial year of 1662 when hunger, disease, and the deteriorating situation of the military forced the Europeans to give up on condition they are permitted to sail to the organization's central command in what's presently Indonesia. However, Koxinga did not enjoy the success much, and he changed the name of the Tajuan to Anping. But soon, he died due to severe malaria. The kingdom of Dongning that was established by Koxinga lasted for 21 years. In 1683, the forces of Qing planned and attacked the island that was under the teenage grandson of Koxinga, who surrendered, and as a result, the island became part of the Empire of China. Taiwan as a part of China, 1683 to 1895. The Empire of Qing had the rule of Taiwan but did not know what they should do about it. After a lot of consideration, Taiwan was incorporated into the empire. The migration from the mainland of China to the island was not allowed. In the 18th century, notable Chinese towns came into existence like Taipei, Jiayi, and Hsinchu. Moreover, Taiwan founded multiple significant temples and shrines. The island was most of the time without any laws as the government was corrupt, including the judicial system. There were multiple issues like banditry, fights between immigrants, fights over water and land, etc. As time passed, the population of Taiwan started growing. By the year 1811, it went to 2 million. In the second half of the 19th century, Taiwan was inclined to the economy and strategy of Japan and other Western places. In the year 1859, the first ever Christian missionaries arrived. Late in the year 1871, a shipwreck took place, which resulted in the invasion of Japan. The Anping in Tainan, Kaohsiung and Keelung, and Danshui near Taipei developed into treaty ports, and citizens from Japan, Russia, and the British Empire used to enjoy the privileges. In the years 1884 to 1885, when the French were involved in a fight with China over Vietnam, French fighters involved Penghu and the Keelung Islands. Due to these attacks, the Supreme Court in Beijing had to give appropriate consideration to Taiwan, appointing fortresses and a rail route. Likewise, Taiwan was at last moved up to a region in its own right. Before 1885, it had been treated as a part of Fujian. After World War II to 1945 to 1975, After the drawing of Japan, Taiwan became part of the Republic of China. After World War II, the leader Chiang Kai-shek was the president of the Republic of China. Unfortunately, his decision of governing Taiwan worsened the situation. It affected the economy, and massive corruption was observed. By the year 1947, a number of Taiwanese people were not satisfied with the new regime and were angry that resulted in a riot in Taipei. An uprising emerged when a mob was triggered while stopping the agents of government from beating a woman who was selling cigarettes without tax. A number of people were massacred in the event widely known as the 2-28 incident. In 1949, Chiang was located again in Taiwan. The island started to prosper, the population started to grow, and increased to 14.6 million. Taiwan since 1975. Chiang died in the year 1975. Later, under the rule of Chiang's son, at the end of 1978, USA broke off its ties with Taipei in order to establish diplomatic relations with the Republic of China. After the death of the son of Chiang in 1988, the KMT began losing the hold on power. New political parties were emerging. Media became active and more outspoken. Sooner, Lee Teng-hui became the firstborn president of Taiwan in 1988. Taiwan had a massive boost in the 1980s and enjoyed economic growth until 1997 that had the Asian financial crisis. Since then, the growth has been gradual. However, the progress did not stop. During the 1960s and 1970s, GDP grew about 10%, 7% per capita every year. The greater part of this development can be clarified by increments in elements of production. Investment funds rates started increasing after the stabilization of currency and reached practically 30% by 1970. In the meantime, schooling, in which 70% of Taiwanese kids had partaken under the Japanese, got widespread and students in advanced education maximized widely. The industries like semiconductor industry, including packaging, IC manufacturing, design became an essential part of the IT industry of Taiwan. Conclusion. With a population of 23.78 million, Taiwan is an astounding island that is settled in the sea off the shore of mainland China. It is unique due to its history and various remarkable cultural variables. Taiwan is impacted by Korea, mainland China, and Japan. It additionally has a system of democracy that is influenced and adopted by the UK and other Western countries.